Today's session is around AI for the classroom, K-12 and higher education. We are focused on empowering education and empowering educators with the knowledge of what is AI. So just a bit about us. We are focused on AI curriculum development, also education of teachers, adults. We provide corporate training. We run boot camps and various courses. We also support compliance and policy. So my name is Alina. Welcome. I have been in the field of AI for 25 years now, and I'm the founder of AI Future Leaders. I am a professor at Northeastern University, where I teach informatics. I'm also an adjunct professor at another university, where I teach AI, data science, machine learning. And I have founded this company with the goal to provide AI education. So our vision is to empower the teacher, the students, the institutions with the knowledge and the skills, and also provide that ethical foundation to make sure that we are building AI safely, ethically, and that we are using it ethically and safely, and to also grow that next generation of leaders. So we are focused on providing education. We are focused on delivering that training, supporting schools, and supporting organizations out there that are interested in upskilling employees and leveraging AI to generate that value and just for growth. So our courses, we have got a couple courses in January. We have got an AI agents zero code bootcamp for anyone interested in building their own AI agents. This 1-day intensive bootcamp is a no-code bootcamp for anyone out there who is interested in building an AI agent to either speed up maybe processes that they have in their jobs, or you can leverage it to potentially automate certain things. But you're also going to learn how to build these AI agents. You're going to learn what is this automation with AI. And do check it out. It's a very interesting course. Another course we have got is called Introduction to Vibe Coding. Some of you may have heard about vibe coding. Some of you may be doing this. So this is when you are vibing with AI. You are prompting essentially to generate that code. So we have got a workshop on that. That one is going to be a 2.5-hour workshop end of January. So do check it out, okay? So do check it out. And welcome to everyone who joined us today. So teaching smarter with AI. There are lots of tools out there. There's also certain products out there. Educators are seeing AI being essentially, you're seeing AI all over the place. You're seeing AI all over the news. You're seeing what's happening with things like ChatGPT. You have got AI tools. Maybe somebody at work is saying, you have to start using AI tools. I'm sure your students might be using AI tools. Well, if your students are maybe in high school or middle school, maybe they are leveraging AI tools. Or university. I personally teach university, and my students, as a fact, I can tell you, they're definitely using AI. I just received very good assignments, all of them most likely written with AI. They are just too perfect. The language is too good. Because AI is very good at that. It's extremely good at writing essays and extremely good at writing projects. So let's talk about the definitions. Before we dive into some of the applications, maybe we discuss some of those definitions. So what is artificial intelligence? And what does come to mind when we say AI? And when we say AI, it's actually a very broad field. You have got anything from self-driving cars all the way to robotics that are powered by AI. You have got, how about shopping on Amazon? Have you shopped on Amazon recently? Maybe. So those coupons and those offers, they were prepared by a data science department, and they have most likely leveraged machine learning, which is a subset of AI. That means they have analyzed customer data and produced custom product recommendations, and those coupons and those offers and those discounts that you actually see. Or how about Netflix? Well, many of us watch Netflix, and Netflix recommends movies to us, right? Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. That one leverages neural networks. And that is actually what is behind tools, large foundational models, like large language models, such as the ChatGPT. That's essentially a subset of this deep learning. So when you're talking to AI, it appears like it understands you. It appears like it's giving you an amazing answer. But behind it, there is an algorithm. And what it's doing, it's generating text. There are multiple ways of doing that, but it's literally generating the next sequence, the next sentence, the next token, the next word, and that's pretty much what it's doing. It may appear as if it completely understands you, but it doesn't. And that's actually a major problem, because we have got students that are younger. For some of us have got some of us are teaching school, high school, or elementary, or middle school, and young kids as early as 8-year-olds, maybe even younger. Parents don't realize they give them access to something like ChatGPT, and when kids don't understand how this technology works, they may be using it unsafely. They might be actually trusting this AI, because underneath it's statistical models. It's neural network statistical models that are trained on a lot of data. Think access to all the data on the internet, right? You get access to all of this all this data, text data, image data, video data, and we can train these large models, such as the GPT-4 and 5 that's under the hood of ChatGPT. There are also other models out there. So just some definitions for you, but you do need to be careful and understand how this works so that you can inform your kids, your students, others, those that you work with. And recently there was an interesting case in China. A woman married an AI generated character that she created 3 years ago. And she ended up marrying this character because this AI character truly understands her. It may appear so because AI is extremely good at conversations. These are called conversational models. Large language models are actually conversational models. They do the best with text data. They still don't do such an amazing job with mathematical manipulations. They may still create errors, or as we call it, hallucinations. So when a human makes an error, we say, okay, he messed up. When AI makes an error, we say, that's hallucination. AI is hallucinating. So it is possible, okay? So how do you use AI? Can it help students? Do you think it can help educators? Do you feel confident in using this technology? And do you feel confident enough to teach this to your students, to others? Schools are making AI education mandatory as early as kindergarten and grade 1. Many countries are coming up with new legislation around providing AI education. Starting in kindergarten and grade 1, up to 8 hours per year. And for older individuals, for older grades, it's going to be more. And for sure, we are expecting university level adults to understand this technology. So it is not a hype. It is not a hype. I work myself with the team, and we build these custom AI applications. And yeah, we deliver business value with these. So AI is actually everywhere. And for educators, there might be some challenges right now. So don't start thinking, I have to use AI. Start thinking, what are my challenges? Is it about creating assessments? I can leverage AI for that. Maybe I want to prevent AI misuse, and I want to redesign my assessments to be more AI proof, which is what I'm going through with my courses that I'm teaching. I'm redeveloping the assessments and all the rubrics since they were created without taking into account that the student can just put it in to Claude or something like ChatGPT or Perplexity or many other AI tools. And students, unfortunately, do like to take shortcuts, and it's gotten very easy. It's just gotten very easy to develop content with AI. You can also use it for grading, potentially. You can use it for communication with students and parents. AI can craft an amazing professional sounding email for you. It can rewrite an email for you. It can summarize something. Lesson planning is a big one, curriculum development, differentiation. I personally, myself, enjoy leveraging AI for assessment generation. Potentially, well, I don't use it for communication so much, but I do use it for prevention of AI misuse, such as redesigning or reinventing the way that I'm going to be presenting certain material or certain activities. So let's talk about what we can. I'm going to show you a few prompt frameworks today, such as the Sierra, Few Shot, Chain of Thought, plus a couple others. And I'm going to show you a bit about how you can design maybe some AI supported activities. And at the end, I have only a couple of slides around ethical AI practices. So think to yourself, how exactly are you using AI? Some of you might be already using AI. Is it for lesson planning? Or maybe for assessment design? Maybe student project. You can maybe generate, you can brainstorm ideas with AI. Feedback and grading, that's also a good one. Also, you need to reframe a bit how you are viewing your relationship with AI. Some individuals that I have talked to recently, well, they said, AI told me to do this, so I'm doing it. Well, because it's AI, it's artificial intelligence. Well, you know what? It's statistical models. It doesn't know what it doesn't know. It is maybe not fine-tuned to your particular data or your problem. So you need to reframe this relationship with AI and understand that, and a lot of individuals and teachers, including myself, when I prompt, I would say things like, thank you, please do this for me, rewrite this email for me. I would say please and thank you, but you don't necessarily have to do that. So you bring the context, and the AI gives you that speed, and together you can create something. But don't treat AI as something that knows more than you. You know your content well, and I would highly encourage you to review the material that is generated from AI. I'm going to tell you about an interesting case study that just took place with Deloitte. They were hired in Australia by a big firm to generate some research and produce a report. I don't know how many of you have seen that or have heard about this one, but they apparently used AI to generate the report, and they did not cross-check all the facts. They were requested to return the money, which was a lot of money for that report. And they said, oh, yes, we used AI to do this, but AI generated references which were fake, and it generated some information which was not correct. So it is possible. And why is it possible that AI sometimes generates something which is not correct? Well, that's because that's pretty much by design. Well, not necessarily. We do not want it to give something incorrect, but it's probabilistic. These models are not deterministic. They are probabilistic. That means the model was trained with a lot of data. Some of it might not be perfect data. And when you're asking for something, it can actually generate, it's generating, but it might generate something that's not completely true. And that often happens when it doesn't have enough context. It doesn't have enough context. It can literally generate fake references or a fake data point. So for you to make sure that you're gaining the maximum value out of some of these tools that you have got access to, such as ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or other, there's thousands. Actually, there are thousands and thousands of AI models out there. Large language models, small, medium, nano, things that I can run on my laptop. Tons and tons out there. But for you to gain that efficiency, you need to understand that when you're prompting, right? We call it prompt engineering. So some best practices is assign a clear role. I like to do this quite a bit. You are a high school biology teacher, or I say, you are an AI professor with a PhD, because that makes sense in my case. And then I can say, okay, then I have to define the task. What is that you're going to be doing? In this example, you're a high school teacher, biology teacher, and then let's define the rubric for this lab report. Give it some context. The students are learning about, I don't know, enzyme activity. Add some constraints. Maybe you can specify the format, such as give this to me in a table with so many columns, and then you can iterate. If it doesn't give you what you want, you can say, okay, this was a good attempt. Now I want it like this and like that, and maybe add a couple more columns or change something. So here are a couple of reusable templates for you. Just a couple ideas. Lesson plan template. And I know it doesn't mean all that much, but there are a couple of frameworks out there. There are a couple of frameworks that are relatively common out there. So in this case, I have got for you race and or roses, right? And the prompt example is specify subject grade duration and learning objectives to generate the complete lesson under the race or roses framework. Here's an idea, like we can build a rubric, for example, or we can generate an AI proof assignment. And we can say, okay, generate an assignment, making sure that students are not able to just create the output using AI. Maybe we can ask for a feedback generator and we can say warm specific comments, concrete next steps, or we can generate quizzes, workshops, that type of thing. There's another framework that I actually like. Context, instruction, role, and action. So the context is you are a grade 9 English teacher. So that's the role. And then I like to say the action. And this is a very common and very powerful framework. If this is the only thing that you take from today, it should be this. This is the slide that you should take a picture of. This is it. So context, you are a grade 9 teacher. Frame it, right? You have to give it instructions. What do you want AI to do? What should AI act like? Act like a grade 9 teacher. Your role as a grade 9 teacher is to generate an assignment. And the assignment should be for this grade. And it should include 8 to 10, for example, questions on this topic. So this is a very common framework. So bad prompts give you bad output. Okay? I'm actually gonna stop sharing for a few seconds, and I want to switch gears a bit. And how about we try a couple of these things? So those of you that are watching and those of you that are on this call, I'm actually gonna share back my screen again. I'm gonna share you the screen again. Tell me if you see it. Yes? So this is what I mean by ape, race, roses, and coast. These are the common frameworks. These are very common frameworks, and we can actually experiment a bit with this, and we can try to apply some of these. So let me share with you. How about we just start with some examples that would make sense. So in the framework that I said, that I mentioned, the role, the instruction. So you would do something like act like an expert on AI and machine learning. You have a PhD in this topic. Your role is to create a short 1,000 word, I don't know, essay, lecture. It could be a short 200 word lecture on the topic of regression. The audience is first year data science students. You must make sure to also generate an AI proof assessment for the students. So I'm writing a lot. How many of you are actually used to writing a very long, extensive prompt? But the more context I give, and this is what I do quite often, I write very advanced and very, detailed prompts, because I know that the more context I give, the better the output is going to be. And we can actually try it side by side. And I have got selected the latest model here. This is the latest, best model. There's legacy models. They're still extremely good models. So, but the more you write, the more context, the better the output is going to be. So you can also say, well, you must make sure to also generate an AI proof assessment for the students. It needs to be on the topic of linear regression. If you have any or any problems or issues doing this, maybe you can ask me, okay? Or you can say, do let me know if this is enough input to generate the assessment. So this is a very, very, dense prompt. This is a mini lecture on just simple linear regression that, the y equals, many of you remember, I don't know how many of you remember, y equals mx plus b. So here you have got, yes, this is a correct notation. You have got the target variable, you have got the intercept, the slope. It gives me a bit about it. This is correct. Now it is suggesting a few other ideas for me for an AI proof assessment. It is suggesting to, how about you construct the regression line, you draw it by hand. Maybe something personalized, such as define your variables. Maybe a conceptual. Okay, yeah, that is pretty reasonable, right? This is pretty reasonable. If I wanted just to say, give me a lecture on biology, well, this is not a very good prompt. It's not really grounded. If I say, give me a lecture on biology, yeah, sure, but look what I did. It also assumed that I want 200 words. It doesn't know what I want, why I want it. It's giving me some ideas, grade 6, 8, 9, 12, but this is not a very good prompt at all. If I say, give me a lecture for grade 6 on biology, and the unit is cell structures, I need this to be for 1 hour lecture, include relevant activities and discussions. This is a much better prompt. So give me a lecture for grade 6 on biology. I specified the audience. I specified the topic. I also said that I needed to be 1 hour. I also suggested to include relevant activities. And it even gave me a breakdown. 0 to 10 minutes, warm up, what is the cell, makes sense. Main lesson, key structures, excellent. Then it's suggesting, let's build a cell challenge, hands-on activity. That's interesting, that's a good idea. Cell jobs role play, okay. I don't know if that's an interesting one for me, but I can actually say, Okay, this is great. However, let's swap, for example, this activity with a short quiz on the topic. Prepare a short 10 question, multiple choice quiz for me. Make sure. Okay, how about like this? Let's see what this does. This is good. If I am working on something like Canvas or Blackboard, or some of you might be working on Google Classroom, this type of quiz structure might make sense. You might also say, well, I want to speed up entering this quiz into my system. It might be a quiz on any topic, to be honest. So you can say, this is great, but you can say, make sure to indicate the correct answer and help me prepare this. Let's say you're on Blackboard or maybe Canvas. So here are the correct answers, and it's highlighted for me, the right answer. Now, you should, and you should definitely review this, and it depends on the topic and the subject that you're teaching and the unit, but do review the material. Make sure that you are reviewing the material, okay? So let me show you a bit more. Like I mentioned, a couple good frameworks are the APE framework, think APE, action, the purpose, the expectation. The other one is race. So I like that one. That one is about the role, the action, the context, and the expectation. I actually like it quite a bit and act like a teacher in grade 9, for example, and prepare this and this assignment. I find that the quality of the output is much better when you do such a thing. Okay. So when should you use which framework? Use the APE for quick tasks, something quick. And the focus here is purpose and clarity, the action and the expectation. And you want this for quick tasks. That's a good one. For something more advanced, what I just showed you, I was using RACE. The role, the action, the context, and the expectation, the expected outcome. I tend to do this quite a bit. So for me, RACE tends to work extremely well. Then you have got roses. This one is for full units, assignments, multi-step structures. And this one is recommended for assignments, but you can blend it. There is nothing stopping you from blending. And just provide more context. So for quick brainstorming, yes. For something complex, give it more detail. Give it more detail. So the examples here, just to reiterate, you can quickly say, here the action, this the purpose, and that's what I want you to do. I want you to produce something for me that works for my grade or for this particular level or for the unit. So experiment. It's important to experiment, and it's important to stay curious and to keep learning. And there are a couple of these templates that you can leverage. I'm going to mention a couple more techniques. There is something called one-shot and few-shot prompting. This one is a one-shot. It's pretty much giving you an example. Few-shot gives you 2 to 3 examples to guide the AI's tone, the structure, the style. So you can do something like write 3 vocabulary activities similar to these examples, and you can give it an example. Or you can give it multiple examples. Let's say you have got a course that's already prepared. You can, for sure, give it examples. You can actually give it all the data from your course, all your material. And you can say, hey, let's work on redesigning this, or let's work on creating activities and assessments that would make sense for this content. Another framework is chain of thought prompting. So you're going to ask AI to think out loud and show its reasoning and justify its steps. You can actually tack on to the prompt, explain your reasoning step by step as you design a differentiated reading activity, for example, for mixed ability learners. And this approach actually shows you what AI is doing. Also, I would like to mention that not all AI is equal or the same. There are many models out there. What I have been doing, I was prompting ChatGPT. If I were to do this with Claude, the output would be different. It's not going to be worse. I'm not saying it's going to be worse or better. It's just going to be different. When I develop lectures with Claude, I get very long, very advanced, very granular type lectures. Large language models do have got different personalities. They were trained a bit differently and they produce different behavior and different output. So here is a challenge. Here is an original prompt. So it's just make a lesson on climate change. Or I said, let's write a lecture on biology. Now that's not a very good prompt. To rewrite this, we might want to leverage this framework, which is the context, the role, the action. What do you want the output to be? So what grade level is this for? What specific aspect? What format? Learning objectives? And what is AI's role? So you can actually take a couple of minutes and just think about this and craft an improved prompt. Okay? We're not going to discuss this, but yes, these are some ideas for you to try at home. So here are specific prompts that you can try. So for example, inquiry unit design, or for a rubric creation, or for example, text differentiation. So here are just a couple of good quality prompts that give enough context. Okay. I also want to show you that, let's go back to some other example that I have got. I want to show you that you can do a couple more things with AI. You do not have to just ask it for content. It can be used in very creative ways. For example, I have got a student, and I like to challenge this particular student. So I can do something like prepare prepare how about 20 question quiz on the topic of, what's a good topic for us to do? What is interesting? On the topic of best practices for prompt engineering. This needs to be at the level of university students. Show me one question at a time. Wait for me to answer. Don't continue. No, don't continue till I have answered. Provide for me the right answer and feedback if I get something wrong. So let's try this. It's gonna play a game with me. So here is a question. Which of the following is the most effective first step when designing a high quality prompt for a complex task? So I think the answer to this, well, I don't think it's A. You should not immediately ask the model to generate the answer. How about B, provide examples without any instructions? That's also not so good. It's going to confuse the large language model. How about C? Let's see. I'm going to give it C. That is correct. It's a best practice to define your prompting in one of these frameworks and to provide a lot of this detail. Let's see, question 2. Which prompt structure is best for tasks requiring step-by-step analytical reasoning, solving a case study or evaluating a data set, zero-shot prompting or a chain of thought, temperature prompting with a keyword? Let's say I answer A. Well, it's playing the game with me. It's saying not quite right. The answer here is chain of thought prompting. It's also giving me a reasoning as to why. This is quite a fun game to play. I hope you're enjoying this game. So for this, let's play this last question. So in prompt engineering, what's the main advantage of using few shot examples, what I just showed you? And let's say I answer, well, I don't know if it's, I think maybe does it teach the model new facts, or maybe a certain pattern or a style that you want. Maybe it's pattern or style that you want. And that is correct, because you're teaching AI some examples and some patterns and styles. Now, how about I show you another AI tool? I know you are interested in understanding more about AI, but yes, machine learning models and large language models, it's a very big topic. Another interesting one that I would like to share with you today would be, I'm not sure how many of us heard about Perplexity. Perplexity is actually quite good for research. It lecture on the topic of regression for data science students. How about I say university level? Now, Perplexity is quite good at generating research, and it's quite good at producing references and URLs and links to relevant research. So Perplexity.ai, it's a very interesting one for you to explore as well. It's also giving me related topics. It is creating, but it's also giving me relative topics. And you can see and follow. You can see what it's doing. Let's see. How about we go back a bit? Now, just like I mentioned, if I were to do this with Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, I do get different results because they are designed for different functions embedded. So after this talk, take a couple of minutes, 5-7 minutes, explore a use case, select something, either lesson planning or assessment design, draft prompts. You can leverage the frameworks that we discussed today. Include maybe specific details about your students, about the course, about the context, what it is that you're trying to achieve. You also want to test and refine. And I have prepared for you 10 educator prompt templates. These are templates that you can use to adapt to the top 10 most often used, essentially, use cases prompts for educators. Lesson design, rubric creation, differentiation, feedback, reflection, cross-curricular links. I also have something for you for student-parent communication, creative writing, idea generation, and question bank. You can also leverage AI to generate case studies and brainstorm ideas for lesson planning, for assessments. I have been brainstorming ideas around creating AI proof assessments. And some of these are transitioning more of those assessments for in class. For those of you who have got students in academia, higher education, bachelor's, master's level, think towards shifting your assessments to be more in person. Or what I have started doing, requesting maybe a first draft, and then a second draft, and a third draft. That seems a bit more challenging to create with AI, the thought process. And I do require students to provide some of that thought process. What else I have done was I may assign a unit or a topic for home learning and exploration, but then I might ask questions about it in the course, in the class. So now that we're going to wrap up, we have got the last couple minutes for today. Let's shift a bit towards that ethical and that pedagogical lens. I want to leave you with a bit around this ethical use of AI. When you're sending information to AI, You should be also careful not to share any personal information, student information, emails, addresses, because if you are not on the paid plan, most of these models, most of these providers, they will use your data to train the models. And that means potentially student personal information, your personal information, but the parents' information, the emails, might get leaked. And that is not something you want. Also, let's think about the ethical use of AI by students. Students, we need to assume that they are using AI. I don't know if I can say the word cheating with AI, because in the previous year, it went from some students using AI, now it's almost all students using AI. So as we wrap up this evening, I want to leave you thinking about the three C's, about critical thinking. We do want students to think independently, question the sources, evaluate evidence, and form their own conclusions. There is research that came out saying that those students that were basically hooked on AI, using AI to write, their brain activity showed 73% less brain activity and brain function. Even after a couple of weeks of not using AI, scans still showed those that had heavy AI use, they did not have as much brain activity. Because your brain is working very hard when you're writing, when you're composing those emails, and when you're writing those assignments. So for those early grades, it's important, for sure it's important, to write and learn how to write. Even for older students, we need to, essentially, that's what makes us human. Writing, creative writing, summarization. AI for sure can speed up many things, but you also need to be careful when you use it and why you're using it. Creativity, that's another one. Recently, there was a lawsuit in Germany against copyright of information. OpenAI got sued for building their models, ChatGPT and other models, and providing information into the model, music and art, without consulting or getting the permission of the artist. So a German court did rule that, yes, they are in trouble. But what happens when AI is helping students to brainstorm? What if AI writes entire assignments? And curation, teachers need to validate and adapt, and we have to be very careful in our use of AI. So follow this checklist with the purpose. Do keep privacy, students' data, parents, educators. Make sure that you're not leaking sensitive data into the models, into the AI. Transparency. We should let students and parents know we might be using AI. We have got AI tools to check if the assessment is, if we are using maybe AI tools to check the assessments, or maybe we are using AI tools, and we should communicate clearly around AI use. Equity, that's another one. If there's biased data in the models that were used to train AI systems, then AI systems might be propagating those biases. Also, need to think about equity and access. If some students have access to computers and some students don't, or some students have access to AI tools and others don't, well, then we are generating some inequalities. So as next steps, do reflect about what we discussed today. Do follow us on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Sign up to our newsletter. Those of you who sign up, we are offering 20% off our courses if you sign up to the newsletter for latest AI information, events that we are hosting, AI trends and patterns. Do stay connected with us and join our community. So thank you so much. Follow us. Follow us for future workshops and events. And my name is Alina Reveles. And thank you so much.